Greetings, traders. Hope that you're doing great today. Jason here, forexsignals.com. Of course, June 21st, Wednesday, 8:01 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hope you're doing great today and everything is treating you well in the markets today. How's it going, Yo-Yo? Austin, Bernie, Max Pro. Hey, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Couple things to cover with you. First thing first. Stock markets here in the U.S. really interesting today, wasn't it? I don't know if you keep an eye on them or not, but S&P down 1.4 points, basically flat. Dow was down 57 points, but the NASDAQ, the tech stocks, up 46 points. Little post from Forex Live said it's NASDAQ's turn to steal the spotlight. S&P flat, Dow down, but NASDAQ higher. Interesting stuff, right? Crude oil, down, down, down. Crude oil's tanking. Yesterday, you might remember I had this chart up here. And we were just breaking 43.73, way down here in that corner. And I was looking at this next swing low. Remember, we put this line up here around 42.16. Said, yeah, that's a way to go, though, in crude. Well, boom, it went right down to it and bounced off a little bit. So the question is next, where do we go from here? If we pump up the weekly chart here a little, just technically speaking, you hear me say that a lot because there's so much more to trading than just looking at a candlestick chart. But just technically speaking, the next area of support is coming in at 39.16. So another big move down. Really interesting. I mean, eventually crude is going to be a great buy, right? Eventually. I'm not quite convinced yet, but eventually it will be. And if we look left, right over here, 39.16 was another area, another range, as well as here. Remember, we were watching that inverted head and shoulders here. We're zoomed in just a little bit on it now. And it's just rolling down. So what I would expect to see happen in crude is probably the obvious, a retracement of some sort like we're having right now. Maybe retracement up to 43, and then some hesitation and maybe a push down. We're seeing some strength come out of gold and silver, however. You can see gold here popping up on the hourly time frame. This is our 4-hour and our daily. This is the one I've been watching the most. We didn't make it down to 12.32 to get long, but we made it down to about, what was it, 12.40? Bounced up here. Same thing with silver. Silver's catching a bid, but only after breaking through that structural support gray zone that I had. Silver put in a low as low down as 16.35. Now pushing up. I still think we're going to push lower in silver and gold. However, I'm not in the trades. I'm not technically looking for entries or exits at this time. I have one trade that is live right now on the dollar CAD to the upside. I took this one with you yesterday, live together in the room yesterday. And my entry was at 32.80, 32.79. I pulled my stops up to lock in some profit at 33.04. So I currently have, I'm going to zoom this in a little. Currently have about 25 pips locked in. A little bit of room beneath the swing low. Target is way up high. This target was pretty far. You might remember yesterday I was talking about this target around 133.80, that we could even extend that further. So my plan of attack with the dollar CAD is to possibly add another smaller order, maybe around this point, a little bit lower if we get there. And if the stop hits, so be it. Otherwise, chasing the stops up and trailing them as we go higher. I think there's a lot of room to the upside on dollar CAD, especially when you zoom out and look at the weekly time frame. So that's where I'm at right now. Long dollar CAD, currently up about 40 pips from yesterday. And then, of course, we had the sweet trade, Euro Aussie. Posted it as a trade idea. Really feel good about this one. As you guys know, I mean, Euro Aussie is my favorite pair to trade. I'll get rid of the candlesticks here so you can see it a little early or easier. This is our entry, 46.97, 46.98, basically 47. And rode it all the way up to the swing high up here, 47.90. We didn't hit the 48 handle. That's why if you're a trader, I don't encourage people to trade to exact levels, like this 1.48000 level. I'd rather have you be a little bit conservative and put it beneath that area. You know, we got close, couple pips away, but then you take the spread. I mean, this worked out to be a really nice trade all the way up on the Euro Aussie. It really didn't give you any reason to exit. It just moved up higher and higher. Beautiful trade. Nice one. And I had one more thing I wanted to show you all. That was the Aussie buck. Really sort of sticky on the Aussie dollar, isn't it? Really sort of sticky. The trade plan was to have the price move down, retrace, continue down. We, of course, had this blurb up here, moved down, retraced a little, continued down. It's just sticky. The Aussie does not want to push down too far. Just sort of hesitating here and holding up. You can see the sort of structure that we have here on the 1 hour time frame coming down into this support area. But I think what's even more interesting is the euro. I know I'm jumping pretty quickly here, but we're looking for this. How did we have it yesterday? Let me get rid of all these lines here. We had this head and shoulders pattern, possible head and shoulders pattern here on the euro dollar daily. You can see it sort of stretched out here on the 4 hour. But we're looking to try to find our neckline and see if it could set up a little bit for us. Could be something like this. Could even drag it down like this. You know, this looks fairly decent. So my plan on the euro dollar is to be selling, hoping that this will push down lower. But again, as I jump around through the charts here, the next one was the DXY. Now, yesterday, the trade idea, remember we were talking about having biases, that type of thing. You have to have a bias, and my bias is that the DXY was going to finally start to break out of this gray box, and it didn't. It just sort of curled over, but not by much. I mean, it really did not curl down that far at all. I think we are sitting around, what were we at, 97.40 yesterday. Now it's at 97.20. So it's still hesitating. I still feel like the dollar is going to pull up a little bit more. And pull our euro dollar down. So I'm going to hopefully get a good trade idea posted. I'm thinking about posting the trade idea to sell on the euro dollar right now, or soon. I've been away from my charts for most of the afternoon here, so I haven't really had much time to look since early this morning as far as which trade idea would be the best one to post. I like dollar CAD. Maybe I'll post an idea on that one about adding more. Euro Aussie, I'm going to stay out of just for now. The yen pairs, I'm mixed on right now. We have a lot of volatility out of the pound, of course, overnight. Dollar CAD, Euro CAD to the upside. Euro CAD long, still looking good. Crude weak, of course, helping the Canadian dollar weaken, pushing up those pairs. So I'm going to avoid silver and gold for this session, this Asian session, and I'm going to look to possibly add a little bit more to my dollar CAD, try to reassess a possible trade idea on the Euro Aussie. Look, we're coming up on a really strong level of resistance, the 48, 1.48. And it's just a very strong level. Doesn't mean we can't break it, obviously, but it's a strong level. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on that for now. Wait to get some confirmation first. There's trades all over the place, everyone. You all know that. We don't have to rush and push things. Trades everywhere. Make sure my stream is coming through okay. Hey, Tropical Phil, how's it going? Jenny, Super Noomba. Your silver trade is coming good, Jason. Yeah, it's a little late for me, though, because I already hit the stops down here at the bottom of the gray. You know, last night it happened too, but I mean, silver just doesn't generally give a lot of good moves during Asia, at least in my, I mean, it can, but it hasn't for me over the years. I mean, generally, London session, US session, when we see the metals move the most, I don't think there's a lot of argument there. Can get good moves in Asia, but it's not the norm, at least that I see. So what do we have coming up for news? Not a lot. I mean, we all know, of course, that about 4 hours ago, New Zealand kept their rate the same at 1.75%. And that was expected. Existing home sales in the U.S. were a little bit better. I'm going to flip over to that right now. Show you guys just a few little bits of news here, just in case you haven't seen it yet. Existing home sales, 5.54 million was previous, came in at 5.62. So better than expected for the USD. Crude oil inventories came out negative. Didn't really do a lot to the markets there, though. I mean, obviously, crude oil inventories being down would raise the price of crude. Yeah, and this usual effect here on Forex Factor, I think that's key. No consistent effect. Affects the loonie due to Canada's sizable energy sector. Okay, you got the idea. And next, we had New Zealand bank rate stayed the same. We really don't have any high impact news until out of Canada at 7:30 tomorrow morning. We have core retail sales month over month and U.S. unemployment claims as well as Canadian retail sales. Other than that, the whole day tomorrow is pretty quiet. Now, don't let these little things sneak into you. We got FOMC member Powell speaking. I don't know how to say the name, Mochler, out of Switzerland, 11 a.m. And then out of Great Britain at 1 p.m., we actually have MPC member Forbes speaking. So when these people speak, sometimes we get some big news that, or hints of news to come that can really move the market. So want to be a little wary. I'm not saying you should get out of your trades or anything like that, but at least know that it's happening. Maybe check your news feed, your Twitter, your Financial Juice, your Reuters, whatever you subscribe to, Talking Forex, whatever it might be. Check those and make sure that the news isn't coming out to get you. And other than that, pretty quiet Asian session as far as news. Really nothing for about 11 hours. Donald Trump is in Iowa here in the U.S. giving a speech. I was watching some of the live speech here a little while ago. Other than that, pretty quiet. In the stock market here, we talked about the NASDAQ, really surprising. Let's see. Theresa May outlined post-Brexit citizens' right plan today from Bloomberg. President Trump said on NAFTA, either renegotiate or terminate. So that's really about the news. There's just not a lot of big, banging news right now. We take a look at our currency meter just to get an idea of what's going on in the markets. Andrew had his commentary here. Euro Aussie pushes onwards. That's cool. I didn't know that he posted that because I wasn't here to watch. Well, that's good. So where's the strength and where's the weakness? Weakness turning here in the last 15 minutes to hour across these majors. The yen is the strongest currency right now, followed by the CAD and New Zealand, even though New Zealand's got a little weakness coming in. If we look at the 1 hour time frame with these divergence or convergence back to the 20 moving average here, the weakest currency was the pound, of course. It got beat up. Now it's coming back. And the lowest currently right now is the CAD, but we're seeing some strength come in, followed by the weak Aussie. The strongest currency, just by a little tiny bit here, is the Japanese yen. And then we got a mix all the way through for the rest. Japanese yen at the top, Canadian dollar at the bottom. That's the divergence from the 20 moving average. So some mixture going on. Maybe we see a turn here. And if you've been using the momentum meter for a while, you can see the 5-minute, 15-minute, the hourly, 4-hour, and daily. And we see the red or the blue sort of come across as these currencies change, the 5 first and the 15 and the 1, and go from there. So it's a little choppy here, but clearly the Aussie is the weakest one. Strongest one is the Japanese yen or the New Zealand, maybe even CAD. So we're seeing the yens pull downwards. Crude is pushing up just a little bit. Of course, silver and gold rallying here in the last 2, 3, 4 hours, quite a bit. There we go. Australian dollar is still under pressure. Euro, I mean, check out this euro pound. I mean, you talk about choppy stuff. Man. Really choppy stuff here. We had that nice trade selling here all the way down for 60 pips. We had this breakout wedge. My overall bias was down. I was thinking the euro pound was going to fall. But of course, we had all that negativity about interest rates come out. And the pound tanked, which shot up the euro pound. But then it went back down again with the news today. We had, where was it here? Let's see. Just saw it a minute ago. I was just reading a minute ago here. Let's see. Haldane. MPC member Haldane shook up the markets. I thought it was on my news feed a little bit ago. I guess it's not. But anyway, the pound gained some strength back. Of course, euro pound dipped 75 pips, came all the way back up, and now it's sitting here. So what do you do right now? I don't like it. I don't like euro pound right at this moment. We got higher highs coming in up here. We got lower lows coming in here. We're coming into our area of consolidation, which just so happens to be hovering around the 23.6 Fibonacci retracement of this whole move up that we drew. So, you know, take your bits and pieces when you can. You know, I took this long trade right in here for 13 pips or 15 pips. You had this one here. I mean, you know, take your bits and pieces where you can. It's the only advice I can give you. I'm very mixed on it. I mean, take a look at this last daily candlestick here. This doji, this spinning top. Tweezers on all ends. Wicks on all ends. You get the idea. A lot of indecision there. So which way is it going to go? I don't know. I still have my bias to the downside. Maybe now's a good time to buy. We had that nice retracement back up. I'm sorry, to sell. And you can see this roll down. Even though it's ugly looking right here, the more I look at it, the more I want to sell it. And it is in line to be selling the euro pound with my possible sell here on the euro dollar. Even though this isn't a true head and shoulders, you can imagine it being one, correct? So we take the head to the neckline, 150, 160 points, puts us down, you know, 109.60, maybe in this area. Let's go ahead and just dabble in this a little bit, shall we? Let's just dabble it in a little bit. I think I'm going to go 112.08. We're going to be a little conservative. I'm going to cut my lot size down just a little bit. I'm going to leave the profit target open for now. Although I definitely want to have greater than a 1-to-1. That's about a 48 pip stop. Let me zoom it in just a little bit for you. 44 pip stop. All right. $110.30, $110.40. So this is what I'm looking at on the euro dollar. I'll put the levels up here just so you can get a better idea of roughly where they are. My stop's at 112.08. Profit level's down quite a ways. Target 110.40. And my entry, of course, is right at current market price. So it's going to be a little bit longer term trade, I think. Might take a little while. About a 40, 50 pip stop, 120. Take profit. I think if it does break down, this profit target should be pretty easy to hit because it is above all the areas of support that we have. We also drew that longer term fib from the deep price on the daily, the way deep price that was put in right around beginning of January, all the way up to the top. We have the 23.6 coming in at about 110.70. that might be a little safer profit target. So I'm going to take a look at that in a little while and decide where my profit target is going to be exactly. But selling the euro dollar does jive pretty well with wanting to go short on the euro pound. And sorry if you have been putting some notes in the chat. I haven't looked too much at the chat yet. This stop is bigger than I'd like to have. Let's cut it down a little bit. 80.33. So I have a short on the euro dollar, a short on the euro pound. And the way my mind works with things when I'm trading is I have the short on the euro dollar, which jives with a sell on the euro pound. At least my bias is in the same direction. I also have my buy on the dollar CAD, which jives with the sell on the euro dollar. So I try to, get my head wrapped around and get everything, going the same direction. 87.70. 87.70 is feeling good to me. So what I'm going to do after this stream is done is I'm going to polish up my targets a little bit here, and I will get a couple of these posted, or at least one, the ones I feel better about, posted as a trade idea for you to take a peek at. Come on, computer. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got here. I'm taking a look at the chat here for a minute. Why would you not trade silver back up now, just out of interest, if you don't mind sharing? I don't like it right now because it broke down beneath my support levels. And when I was studying this a couple of days ago, before I had posted that trade idea, my whole plan was that if we broke beneath 1640, beneath this wick here on the 4 hour, I know it's sort of small, that we were going to push lower. And fundamentally, I see the US dollar, or the DXY, rising. And that's really, I guess, the main thing. I mean, I'm envisioning oil going down lower. I'm envisioning the dollar getting a little bit stronger here, maybe breaking out of this colored box that you see here to the upside. At least that's my bias. That would be in tandem with my buy on the dollar CAD and my sell on the euro dollar. So if all those things come to fruition, buying silver at this point would not be one thing that would fit into that plan. That's about the best summary I can give you. Again, it's just my own trading, just my own trade ideas. But that's how I think about it. Tropical Phil, been a slow week for news. I enjoy that sometimes, but I agree. Yo-yo tolerance. Some people don't like double dipping. Let's see, Jenny. Austin Phillips, what do you think of CAD news? That's coming out tomorrow. CAD news tomorrow. The retail sales. Oof. Let's see. Now, this is just a guess. I've been good at guessing the news for Aussie lately, but my guess is that the core retail sales, the high impact one, month over month, is going to come out a little bit under expected, and that the monthly retail sales, the non as important, non as high impact, sort of moderate impact news out of Canada will come out about at even or a little better. So I don't see a lot of movement coming out of Canada with that, possibly weakening the CAD just a little, which would hopefully pull up my dollar CAD a little bit more. I hope you guys got a piece of that Euro Aussie trade yesterday. That one was really, really nice one. I gotta stick to the ones I know the best, right? I mean, those are my favorites. What else do we got? Silver just found support. Wait for confirmation for entry. Hey, on sale. Found the best meme. Let's take a look. Tropical pill. Demo traders, market maker, trader, stop loss. That's funny. Signal providers just watching. Yeah, that's good. You got it, Yo-Yo. In Austin. Yeah. My goal here is to give you as much information as I can, but I don't want to, ramble on about fundamentals and things too much, because I don't ramble on in my mind when I trade. I try just to show you what I'm thinking. I haven't talked about the yens very much at all during this Asian session, because I still feel like the yens should be weaker than what they currently are. I still have my bias to the upside on the euro yen, pound yen, dollar yen. I'm leaning a little bit more into a possible pound yen or dollar yen long trade. We're sitting at 111.12 right now on dollar yen. Really a lot of resistance here, about 111.70, isn't it? I mean, just a lot of resistance. We have this sort of rising trend line here. Could connect it even here. Either way, it's breaking. Coming right up on support now. 111. I like dollar yen to the upside. I really do. Matter of fact, I like it so much, I'm just tempted to get in on a trade here. But I just don't have quite enough items on my checklist that go in the direction that I feel like I want to buy it here. 60, 20. I think buying dollar yen's a decent trade right now. It's not, if I had to put it as a trade idea, I'd put it like a 6 out of 10. We got this crazy volatility out of the pound. Pound's at a similar place though, isn't it? As far as the dollar yen, sitting right at this little area of support from the wick that's to the left. So I guess if you want to buy a yen currency pair, I think you sort of have to pick between pound yen, dollar yen. I'm not liking the euro as much. Hence my selling of the euro dollar and buying of the euro pound, or selling of the euro pound. Just watching your latest video. My strength meter looks the same on the left, but the MA part looks pretty different. Default B goof. Dupapa, if you're listening right now, let me know if you're listening right now, actually. What you just need to do on the strength meter is just zoom in your candles. So I'll show you this real quickly here. If your strength meter, momentum meter looks just like this, and you want to see these lines like this that are spread out, you have to have your candle zoomed in all the way. If yours is shrunk, it might look something like that. You have to take your chart. You have to take your chart like this, whatever you have, candlesticks, bars, whatever, and squish it all the way to the top, and then zoom in all the way. Does that answer your question? I hope it does. Nice. Very nice. I got a little delay here, of course, when you guys chat, guys and girls. When you chat, it takes about 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds. If you're new to the room, just know that. I'm not really that mentally slow. It just takes a little bit of time. for things to catch up. Jason, when you became more successful at trading, how did you deal with the mental issues of having more money on the table per trade? And did you think the market acted differently to your larger lot sizes? That's a really good question, Yo-Yo. Thanks for that one. I don't think the market reacts any differently to the larger lot sizes. I feel like if you're trading a larger lot size, though, you're more zoned in. You're more, hyper analytical because every pip can mean a lot. On my own personal accounts, I've had as much as $200, $300 a pip, even more on trades somewhat commonly in the past. Back when I managed funds, I had a lot more, than that running. But, 10, 20, 30 standard lots is a lot, especially spread across a lot of different pairs. And I mean, it's hard to go to bed and let those things run. So if you're trading, I think I mentioned it in the chat a couple weeks ago, if your trade size is making you want to watch the charts even closer, or not letting you want to let the trade run even though you have no reason to exit, you want to go to bed and you can't sleep because you're watching it, or you're stressed out over every little tick chart move, then that's a really good sign you got to go smaller. Thankfully for me, I don't, trading, the Forex market, even though it's a really big source of income for me, it's not my biggest source of income, and it doesn't stress me out. So I let it roll, I have winners, I have losers, but it's been really good. I mean, lately, Forex market's been treating me really good for a long time now. So I hope that answers your question. I don't really let it affect me at all. I mean, I think that the people I've talked with, though, that get really stressed out, as soon as you're stressed out or you're starting to trade differently, and an example I had is my friend out in Colorado, great guy, but he always wanted to take the profits all the time. As soon as he saw, $100, $500 in his account profit, he wanted to take it. He wanted to grab the money. He couldn't let it go to his profit target. But he always let him go to a stop because he was afraid to, he's hoping it would come back. So don't let it mess with you. If it is, you got to go smaller, or take a break, or go to a demo account for a while. Yeah. Yeah, do Papa definitely share a screenshot. Hey Lucy, I am in Euro USD. Yeah, you got it. Welcome. Jenny says, don't look at money. Yeah, Yo-Yo. And you know me good enough, Yo-Yo. I could go on about this topic for an hour, but that's the gist of it. Here's the euro dollar trade. Just to show you this. So when I'm trading on the euro dollar, it's a little bit choppy, hard to see now with the numbers here so you can see the prices, but I'm trading this sort of stretched out head and shoulders pattern, hoping the neckline will break. My entry is right at market price here, 111.64, Lucy, and the stop is at 112.08. The profit target is down at 110.40. So we have a really nice reward to risk here, about 45 to 50 pip stop over 120 or so target. Putting your stop, or your target level, maybe around 107.60s might not be the worst idea, because the 23.6 is coming in. So you could have a target here, or you could have a more aggressive target down here. And the reason I like those targets is, number one, technically, there's no support all the way down. I mean, there's just nothing supporting all the way down. I mean, we have these wicks and things in the middle here, but there's really not a lot of support all the way down if this trend line breaks. So that's where I'm at, shorting the Euro USD. I also have a short entry on the Euro Pound. And I have a long order since, I think it was yesterday. Yesterday. Placed it during the live stream. That's long. And in nice profits already. Up about 45 pips. Moved the stops up to 130, 133.04. So locked in about 25 pips of profit. The Euro Aussie trade idea from yesterday was closed with nice profit here. About 92, 93 pips. And I'm currently out of that. We have just too much resistance coming up here at 148. I still think it's going to move up, but it's not along with my bias of selling the Euro Pound, selling the Euro Dollar. Thinking about maybe buying pound yen or dollar yen, but not convinced enough. My bias is for the dollar index to slowly move up and push up higher. That would continue to push crude down, and also silver and gold, which have been rallying here quite a bit the last few hours. Someone told me to look at pips. Hey there. Av or Ave Equity, how's it going? I don't think I talked to you before. Someone told me to look at pips, not money. That's exactly right. I mean, you can look at whatever you like, just as long as it doesn't affect your psyche. If looking at the money affects your trading, then you have to trade a smaller amount. That's just the way it is. I mean, the thing that motivates me the most right now as a, quote unquote mentor here at Forex Signals is posting trade ideas that people can profit from. I'm more concerned about having a trade idea that hits my stop for everyone else that's watching than I am for my own account, because I'm only risking a certain small percentage of my account, and some people risk too much. So if you see a trade idea, always make sure and make it your own. Make sure it fits your trade plan. Make sure you keep your risks small. And if you're new, trade it on a demo account first. One little disclaimer, there's a lot of people posting trade ideas, and that's what we want. We want to have trade ideas to analyze and to go through, but some traders are more consistent than others. So you can click on a trader's name and see all the trade ideas they posted and look at how they turned out. You can comment on them and write back and forth. Anyone who posts a trade idea, if somebody writes a comment, they get a little message, a little notification, and then you can chat on that. Like my Euro Aussie, I posted that we hit profits and we're out. Let's see, someone told me when your accounts get bigger, your risk percent lot size will increase to maximum compounding. Yeah. Jason, you looking to see gold a lot lower, tropical fill? Yeah, I actually am. I think that gold is going to come down. I'm not, again, I don't want to sound like I'm whining, but I'm not convinced enough either way. But I'd like to see gold come down to at least 1232 before I would try to buy it. If it breaks 1209, I think it's going to push down. I think gold and silver, along with crude, I think the dollar's going to pick up steam, and I think we're going to really push down. But I am definitely interested at buying it at 1232 with a fairly tight stop, just to see if it's the fourth point on this trend line rising on gold. Because, I mean, this is pretty important. I mean, right where my crosshairs are right here, right in this area where my crosshairs are, everything this way is this whole year. This is what's going on in gold the whole year. So anybody who watches or trades gold knows there was a double top and knows there's a rising trend line. So we're going to see volatility right when the price comes to this area. If it does make it down to 1232 or so, we're going to see volatility come in. I'm going to be one of the people who takes a long position there with a relatively tight stop. However, if it breaks, I might jump on the sell train. So I know it's sort of a mixed analysis, but I see it going lower. And part of the reason is I see the DXY pushing up. I really think it's going to push up a little bit. And silver, I think you all know my plan on that. If we broke beneath this gray box, I think we're going to push a lot lower on silver. I don't feel like the 16-15 handle is going to hold up all that well on silver. I think we're going to push it down to 1560s. Which could be in a great price to be short right now. If you believe that strategy anyway, that thought. Let's see. Guilty of being the same as Jason's friend at certain times. Always let it hit the stop and not the target. Money will affect your emotion. That's right, Jenny. And people can say it doesn't affect them. I say that all the time, but it does to some point, obviously. Yeah. Let's see what you got to, Bob. That looks good to me, actually. Yeah, that looks the same. Oh, you mean the results the same. Training, let's see. Let's see what we got here. You're zoomed in all the way, I think. Oh, maybe you're not. Let's see if I zoom it out here. So your momentum meter, do pop on your screenshot that you posted. The momentum meter looks the same, like you said. The colors look the same. But the results of the deviation from the 20 moving average look a lot different, don't they? And you're on the hourly. So I did not program this. Andrew had this programmed, and I think that Will edited things in here to clean it up and make it look nice. But I think that you have to change a setting in yours, possibly. I don't know if you change anything in yours or not. Did you change anything? You can change the moving average to 20 or 10 or whatever you want in the settings. I didn't touch the settings on mine. So I think that I'm going to have to plead the fifth with you on that one, Dupapa, because I see exactly what you're saying here. And yeah, your lines definitely look different than my lines on the same time frame. The broker shouldn't make much difference. I mean, a little tiny bit, but not that much. Yeah, because you got the pound way up high. I'd ask you what broker you use and that stuff, but I don't think it really should matter very much. So all I can recommend doing is maybe take a screenshot like this and email it to Andrew, possibly. Andrew Will. I'd probably start with Andrew to see what he thinks. Andrew@forexsignals.com. And I think the best description is, got the momentum meter. Everything looks like it's working fine, but when I compare my lines to Jason's lines on his live stream, they look different. And what settings do you use? I think if I remember right, the PDF file that you can download right in the trade room under FX Propulsion Strategy, I think that PDF file has the settings in it, if I remember correctly, but I'm not 100% sure. Jason, you talk about your bias. Is your bias formed by fundamentals at this moment? It's both. I don't know if it's AVE equity or average equity, but it's both, to be honest with you. I am a technical trader, but I also keep a close eye on fundamentals. I mean, fundamentals to me are a lot more important than other people's. You know, for example, watching the yens with the stock market and watching the price of oil with the Canadian dollar and the lumber and dairy issues that are going on, that type of thing. So I would say it's about 50-50. What makes me take a trade, though, is the technical setup. You know, if we're at a trend line, if there's a head and shoulders pattern like we might be seeing here on the euro dollar, if my overall bias all lines up, like DXY going up, dollar index, CAD getting weaker, oil pushing down, dollar CAD going up, then I want to only be selling if I'm selling euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar. So my advice is, you know, as you get more seasoned at a trader, to watch your bias on everything and only take the trades where everything lines up. You know, it's always nice to get the confluence of signals. You know, it's nice to get a trade to set up right at a 38.2 fib retracement, which is also a rising trend line, which is also, you know, after this news came out about the euro and also is in line with the euro pound, but it doesn't always happen that way, but it just gives you extra confidence. And you can decide if you have a trade that's you rank really high, say it's a 9 out of 10 on your trade plan ranking, maybe you take a little larger lot size. Maybe instead of risking 0.5% or a 0.25% or 1%, maybe you risk 1.5% or something. So I definitely think there's a little something to that, the percent risk, depending on how good you feel about a trade, can definitely change a little. If you're not good at picking good trades and you just take your random trades and some of the bad trades win and some of the good trades lose, then I would keep the lot size the same. But if you've been trading for a long time, and I've been looking at charts over 10 years here in the Forex specifically, Not stocks, not futures, not options. Just Forex trading. And of course, a little silver, gold, oil. You get an idea, how confident you are on a trade. And they're going to be wrong. I mean, that's the number one thing. I don't want to waste your time here, but your trades are going to be wrong a lot. When I'm on a good roll, I can go for a few weeks, maybe a month, month and a half, where I'm at 75% success rate. But generally, if you're at 50, 60%, 55, 60, maybe 63, you're doing pretty good, especially if your risk to reward is always greater than a 1-to-1. I mean, that's the beauty of it. You can lose most of the time and still be profitable if you don't mess with your trades and you let the stops hit when they have to and the profits hit when they do. Just simple math and a lot of psychology thrown in. How long do you think the Euro USD will take to play out? Man, I wish I could tell you that. I mean, I'm looking on a daily time frame here. I mean, profit target's either at 107.6, I'm sorry, 110.76 or 110.40. I'm going to think at least a couple days. 2 days? 3 days? Maybe? The thing could stick around. What is today, Wednesday? I mean, I'd like it to play out before the end of the week. But if we do happen to lock in some profit, say we get 40, 50, 60 pips of profit, I would have to decide with you on Friday morning when Andrew and I come on together if I'm going to close off this trade if it's in nice profit or let it go over the weekend. I usually don't do that. I'm not a fan of leaving things over the weekend. There's just too many things that can happen in the world and you have no control. And your stops could be gapped up huge. I mean, with all the uncertainty here, think of all the stuff going on in Europe right now. And think of all the stuff that's going on in Great Britain. The hung parliament, Theresa May and all this. You think about Trump, North Korea. I mean, I don't need the stress of worrying about his trade and watching the news on the weekend, trying to guess which way the market's going to gap, So, but I do leave trades over the weekend open sometime. Not very often, though. Name is Angel. Well, that's a nice name. I like it. Actually, just for reference, okay, we'll do, Jason. Appreciate it. Yeah, do Papa. Email it, Andrew at Forex Signals. And just send them that screenshot. And just tell them that the lines are really different than the ones that I showed. Yeah, Jenny, you're right. It's the 20 moving average is what he has set. Got it. Cool. Breaking 4H fractal low. Take a look. Hey, Erebus, how's it going? A number of 5. Had a bad day yesterday with Great British Pound. Sorry to hear that. The pound has been just nuts, huh? Just whippy. Like I said, I've been trading Forex over 10 years. And with some of the other websites I've had YouTube videos on since, I think, 07, 08. I've been doing videos for trading off and on. The old ones are pretty nasty, but they're out there. You sort of know when people are getting smashed in the markets. I mean, something like this out of Great Britain, I mean, the new lows and then the highs, and that's just really hard to trade. Maybe you scalp and you're trying to get 5, 10, 15 pips here or something, but I see that pattern. I look at my phone in the morning when I wake up and just sort of looking at what's going on, and I think, man, I bet you people lost a bunch of money again. It's tough. The pound has definitely been the most volatile pair for a while, Again, dollar yen's looking interesting. Here's the cool thing about a trade like this. This is the 15-minute time frame. Let me squish it down a little bit. If you bought the dollar yen right here, you would know if you're wrong in 5, 6, 7 pips, So the risk is so small. I don't foresee, now I don't know for sure, nobody does, but I don't foresee this dollar yen breaking down to 110.95 or something and then shooting up to the moon. I just don't see that happening. I think either it's going to break down and it's going to fall, or it's going to stick right here at this nice area of support, 111, 111.05. But as you can see, I'm not quite confident enough to have my own trade on. So take that for all it's worth. Makes sense in theory, but I'm not confident enough to put my own trade on there. If I've said it once, I've said it a million times. If you want to see what I really like and what I feel, just look at the ones that I have going. Those are the ones I feel the best about. I'm liking dollar CAD long more and more here all the time now. This trade with 1.3 lots is up 437 bucks. The Euro Aussie yesterday, I had 1.5 lots on that. It made $1,048.32. Not bad. Euro pound is down 108 and the euro dollar is down $5 on a 1.3 lot. So basically break even. So I'm going to get a couple trade ideas posted here in a little bit. And I will post them in the room. Of course, there's notifications and all that kind of thing. Welcome to those who are new in the room. Thanks for coming in. Asian session's usually a little bit more quiet. We are seeing some movement, though. I'm sort of surprised at the movement we're seeing, especially on gold and silver. Oh my gosh. Let me shrink this back down and tuck this away a little bit. So that's all I have for now. Remember, not a lot of breakthrough news coming on for a good 10, 11 hours. So if you see some majors, you know, like Aussie dollar, euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar yen, if they start moving, there might not be a lot of news to shake it up. So it might be time to jump on a little short-term trend, try to get a trade on that maybe it'll last you 10, 12 hours, make yourself 20, 30, 40, 50 pips. I like Aussie dollar to the downside as well, even though it's sort of sticky. I mean, this whole move here, you know, this whole move from top to bottom, 70 pips, but it's been really jammed in this 20-some pip range. But coming up on support again, Aussie buck. It looks pretty clear that the Euro Aussie is going to bust above 48, 1.48. Might see some impulsivity. If you want to hear a little prediction here before I sign off, here's what I'm going to predict. Could be totally wrong, so don't take it to the bank. But I predict the Euro Aussie is going to break above the 1.48 handle. I think it's going to break through impulsively. And when it does break through impulsively, the Aussie dollar is going to push down to fresh new lows. This Aussie dollar, I think it's going to push all the way down to the 38.2, which puts it at about 75.18 here. That's what I think is going to happen on the Aussie buck. I think we're going to have a good 25, 30 pips, even more on the break up with the Euro Aussie. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. Euro Aussie going up isn't that helpful for my Euro pound short, but we'll see how it pans out. So keep an eye on that. Euro Aussie up, Aussie dollar down, impulsive break. And I think that's what's going to happen. So I'll see you all later on. Thanks for chiming in and hanging out with me this evening. Have a great rest of the day and happy trading. See you tomorrow. Thanks.